Hey guys, I'm back. Haven't made a video in a little while, and the part of the reason as to why that is actually somewhat the subject of this video. Um, I'm not trying to use this as an excuse or something. I do wish I was making more videos more often. Um, I don't really have a good excuse for that. I I'm just bad at sticking to it, I guess right now, really. But um maybe some of what I talk about in this video will explain why that is to some extent. Because this is a video about ADHD. And specifically how ADHD has affected me throughout my life and how medication for it has recently helped me at least somewhat get my life a little more back on track, but still not quite to the same extent that I would like. Um, so when I was really young, I was diagnosed with ADHD, or more specifically, they diagnosed me with ADD, which basically means they think you are attention deficit, but you don't have hyperactivity. So you're not really you're not hyperactive. You're not moving around a lot, but you things can't hold your attention. Which I understand why. I tended to just, I wouldn't be running around all over the place as a kid, but I would, just kind of space out a lot. Sort of be in my own head. Like if what was going around if what was going on around me didn't interest me, I would pretty much just retreat to my own head, into my own thoughts. Um, and I am largely still like that to this day. Obviously, I try to do a lot better. Like, especially if I'm talking to people, I feel really shitty if I stop listening to them in the middle of a conversation. Um, so, I try to fight these tendencies somewhat. I do sometimes wonder about the hyperactivity thing. Only for one reason, which is I do sometimes do the leg bounce. Like when I'm sitting at my computer working on something, uh, my leg is bouncing. It's just a thing I do when I'm nervous, but sometimes it also helps me focus. Um, yeah. It's a thing I do a lot, but anyways, that's a bit of a sidetrack. The point is I was diagnosed when I was very young. But then I don't even understand how this mix up happened, but like from what I remember is they were telling me I had ADHD, but then I think some other doctor I saw told me, like later on, told me, oh, actually, you probably don't have ADHD. You have ASD, or at the time it was referred to as Asperger's syndrome. Um, but it would be autism spectrum disorder now. They said you're actually autistic, and your autistic traits got mistaken for ADHD traits. Um, so for a chunk of my life, I basically forgot that I even had the ADHD diagnosis at all. Um, because I had this memory of a doctor saying that to me, but I don't even know if my brain like made that memory up because I found a form just buried in some papers that basically said that actually no, you're diagnosed with both. Doctors like it basically was like no, actually you have both. You have ADHD and ASD, and I was like, this explains a lot of things. um, because I despite having been diagnosed, I went for years thinking that I didn't have ADHD because of this memory that maybe my brain made up. I don't even know. And then I found this paper that was like, no, you do have it. And I was just like, this explains a lot of things. But when I was originally diagnosed with ADHD, um, it they gave me a medication to that was supposed to help me pay attention more. I think it was like I think it was Ritalin, basically. They gave me Ritalin. This was supposed to help me pay attention in school better, help me get my shit done, and it did technically do that. The problem, however, is that I was not okay when I was on that medication. I did not feel good. Um, and I had. It turns out that basically that medication has a lot of side effects that are supposed to be really, really rare, but can really, really fuck with your head if you do get them. And for some reason, I got like all of the rare side effects. Um, and I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but all I'm going to say is I was an extremely paranoid person when I was on that medication. Like, I would get shit done more, but I would be I would be paranoid about everything and freaked out about everything, and I wouldn't trust anyone. It was not good. It was not a fun time. Um, that shit fucked with my head. And, eventually the doctors realized this eventually, and they were like, okay, we're going to take him off that medication now. Because that's not good. That's not worth it. So I went off the medication, and I literally had to like see doctors to like calm myself, like just for the like anxiety that I was having while I was on the medication, to like manage that and be able to chill out again. It was legitimately probably one of the worst. It was easily one of the worst experiences I've ever had with a medication in my life. And might be one of the worst experiences I've had in my life in general. And it was a combination of that and the fact that I kind of wasn't even sure if I even had ADHD for a while, because I thought, my symptoms of autism were like mistaken for ADHD. It is for both of these reasons that I just stayed the hell away from ADHD medications for a very, very long time. I stayed far away from ADHD medications, and for a long time I would struggle to do things. Like, I would be able to get things done. I would be able to, I got through school, and I got pretty decent grades and all that. But I was always doing things at the last minute. I was always hardcore stressing myself out. I was not really spending as much time doing things I wanted to do, because I would be kind of fighting with my brain all the time about, like, well, I need to do this thing, and if I go out and do this other thing that I want to do, then it might distract me and I won't do this other thing. But then I wouldn't do that other thing either, and I would just sit there not doing what I wanted to do, or doing my work, I would just sit there like paralyzed, like unable to do either thing. So it's too indecisive. And I've wasted so much time feeling like that, which really sucks. And finally, I'm in college now, and I've finally been struggling enough that again, I still get things done. I get things done very last minute. Um, if I don't have a deadline, then like if I don't have a specific deadline that someone's gonna hold me to, then I will. Then it's really hard for me to get things done unless I hyper focus on it, which I think is part of why I've struggled a lot with YouTube videos. Is I have a lot of YouTube videos I want to make, but there's no I'm in charge of that, which means no one else is holding me to any deadlines really. Um, or even if I do, if I try to hold myself to deadlines, nothing is really gonna happen if I don't meet them. So it's not that I don't want to make these videos, but it is like some of the I've been trying to work on longer videos that take longer, require more editing and writing and stuff. And the thing is I'm always, I mean, this is another thing they say is common with ADHD is I'm always passionate about these when I start working on them, but because of how long they take and how long I have to work on them, um, you get after you work on the same thing for a while, even if it's not done, your mind just is kind of like, okay, well, I want to do something else now, and it becomes harder to focus. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That was a bit of a tangent, but I wanted to explain that. Um, so yeah, that's been kind of difficult. Um, but yeah, anyways, there's it's caused me so much stress. It's caused me to like I will forget like there will be times where I will tell friends I'm going to do something with them, and I mean this I don't do often, but I'll tell friends I'm going to do something with them, and then I'll forget, and I won't show up to wherever I was supposed to meet them, and they'll be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, hold on, let me sprint there." um, yeah, so it's caused me so much trouble for so many years. So I finally went back to the doctor um, a couple, I want to say 3 months ago. I went back to the doctor and I was like, you know what? I think I need ADHD medication. I can't. This has been fucking with my life for years. Um, so I think I need medication. But I also tell them I have all these worries about it because some real bad shit happened when I tried another medication before. Um, so I want to be very very careful here. And there were a lot of other things I was worried about too. Like, I think I've heard some people say when they're on ADHD medication, they almost they forget, or they, I don't know. I've heard some people describe this vague sense of feeling like they're not themselves when they're on the medication, and I was just like, that doesn't sound good. And yeah, it like I'm always scared. Like, generally speaking, if somebody, if a doctor says, "Hey, you should try this medicine. I think it'll help you." I'm gonna trust the doctor. I'm gonna take it. But like any kind of medications that like affect your mind or the way that you think are always the ones that I'm the most hesitant to do that with, because there is something that I don't like about the thought of like a medication or like a drug or something that affects the way you think. It's, I don't know, there's like this weird thought of like, am I like changing who I am to some extent at that point. um so I had all these fears, but she was like, okay, we're gonna start you on like a really low, like lower than most people start on kind of dose, and we're gonna see how things go. And she gave me the medication, and after she gave me the medication, I proceeded to have probably the best 2 weeks of, uh, or at least the most productive 2 weeks of my life. Maybe the best 2 weeks of my life in quite a while. That was when I was actually making more, although shorter, videos on my main channel. Um, I think I started making the Zom 100 video around that time. Um, so and I did a lot of other work for videos that aren't even out yet. Um, because I did a lot of writing, but not a lot of, I guess, editing. Um, but I got a lot done. I, like, literally, like, the first day, I was like, oh, I gotta clean some stuff in the basement, and that is, I'm not gonna be able to focus on that. That's gonna be my whole day. Because I'm just not going to be able to focus, and it's a big room. It's going to take me all day. I finished it in like an hour, like before noon. I was like, holy shit! I didn't know I could do that. This sounds so cheesy to say. Like, if you don't have ADHD, you can't understand. I don't know if you can even understand how like impossible a task that would usually feel like, and how insane it is to like get it done that quickly. But it did. I thought like getting this done in an hour, that's an impossible task. I couldn't, there's no way I could do that. And then I just did it. And what I realized is that actually, one of my fears was I was worried I was not going to feel like myself. And what I realized is I felt more like myself than I have in a long time. Like, I felt, the best way I can describe it is it feels like normally, without the medication, it feels like I'm fighting for the steering wheel. Like I'm fighting to do, I'm fighting to focus my attention and my energy on things that I know I should be focusing on, or even things that might be harder to do, but I know in the long term I want to focus on doing them. Um, but like, it's really hard to, like, anything that doesn't give you like an instant dopamine hit is like really, really hard to do with ADHD. And yeah, so for my whole life, it feels like I'd been like fighting for the steering wheel to like do these things that come easily to a lot of other people. And then I took this medication, and for 2 weeks, I felt like I just had the steering wheel in my hands, and no one was like, I'm not gonna say I had zero problems paying attention to things. I would get unfocused here and there, but I don't think any more than like the average person does. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind how much more I actually felt like myself. Um, because usually it's just it's so hard to just do things. I don't know. I'm man, to anyone who doesn't know like what I'm talking about, this is gonna sound so stupid. It's gonna sound so stupid, and that's making me kind of nervous to release this video. But to anyone who can relate to this, I still want to release this video. Um, the only regret that I have in trying this medication is that I didn't do it sooner. However, here is the problem, and here's why I'm still having trouble focusing on videos. But this is a problem that I'm hoping is going to be solved pretty soon. The medication that I started, it you'll notice I specifically specified like it worked really well for 2 weeks. After about 2 weeks, it started to not work as well, and then it seemed to stop working to like almost have no effect. And I've had to keep, while talking to my doctor, obviously, about it, I've had to keep upping the dose slowly to get it to have like any kind of effect anymore. But according to them, there's like at some point like you generally will find the right dose where the effect will be consistent, and you can take it every day, and you'll just be able to get shit done. And I'm hoping that's what's gonna happen, so that I can get more videos out, deal with a lot of other shit that's been going on in my life, because I've been busy as shit with a lot of things. I mean, over the last week, I haven't been as busy, but before that, I was busy with a lot of things, and I'm gonna be busy with a lot of things in the near future. And I want to be able to keep doing this, keep doing videos alongside all these other things I have going on. Even though I'm really bad at balancing all this stuff in my life, and I'm hoping that when I find the right dose of this, I will be able to do that. And if you're someone who has struggled with ADHD or has had bad effects from ADHD medication, I guess I just wanted to say, like, you should talk to a doctor. Like, you should tell them your concerns about, if it'll have problematic effects and things like that. But you should at least try something else. It's worth it, and I can't stop thinking about how much like the thing that really sucks is honestly just how I can't stop thinking about how much time I wasted, and how much more I feel like I maybe could have accomplished sooner if I didn't worry about getting this medication for so long. Because get like, like I said, it has helped me feel more like myself, more in control of myself, and it's helping me get shit done. And you know, if there's something you can do that helps you get shit done, there's no shame in doing that. Um, yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. So thank you for listening. This was a bit of a more of a personal video. Um, I want to make more personal little vids like this though, and share little bits and pieces of my life that I think people maybe might find interesting on here. Or maybe you didn't find it interesting. Maybe you thought this sucked, but I don't know. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you got something out of this video. If you did, let me know in the comments. And I will see you in the next video. And that's it. Goodbye.